Welcome to the Yoked podcast. I'm your host, Travis Hall, alongside my wife and co-host, Ingrid.
On this podcast, we talk about all things real estate, entrepreneurship, business, faith, family, you name it, we talk about it, and how we do it all as an equally yoked husband and wife team.
We are glad you're here. Thanks for listening. Enjoy this week's episode. What's up? And welcome to the Yoked podcast. I'm your host, Travis. Thank you for joining. Obviously, today is a different day. I am solo by myself, and we are officially doing a Yoked on the boat. And I'm so excited. I got the email yesterday, or 2 days ago. I got an email from our book club that said Friday is the last day of book club of the season. I hope it was a great season. And so obviously I had to go out. And since it's a good day, I was like, I'm going to do Yoked on the boat. Today's the day. So officially, I've talked about it like 10 times on this podcast that I want to do Yoked on the boat. And this episode is that. And it is chilly. It is about 40 degrees, maybe 38 on the water. Got my gloves, got my hat. But beautiful Coeur d'Alene. Got the mountain right here. I got the resort right here. It's just spectacular. So, solo Yoked on the boat podcast today. I am excited. Today is maybe a little cheeky, maybe a little cliche, but it is so good because today I'm talking about 5 things that I've learned about boating this summer and how it translates into your everyday life and how you can be yoked to it, how it relates to being yoked. So let's get into it. All right, number one. The number one thing, first thing that I've learned about boating this summer at Lake Coeur is that docking requires patience and perseverance. All right, so docking. Boating, lesson number one, docking. Docking is so different than parking a car. It's so different. Docking requires so much practice and there's wind, there's current, there's waves, there's people watching you, and there's so much pressure to make sure. And I mean, boats are expensive, and so you'll be pulling up next to a boat, and there's $1 million boat next to you, like not exaggerating, and you're like, oh my gosh, I cannot hit this thing. So the key with docking is that you have to come in. If you're docking into a slip, you have to come in at an angle and then using that propeller as your friend. So you come in and you float toward the dock, you come in at an angle, you turn the wheel, you go back. I've practiced so much when it comes to docking. I've watched YouTube videos. There's a Instagram handle called How to Boating, and I've watched it many times on different ideas on how to dock, how to park the stupid boat. And it is so tricky. So the number one thing that I've learned is that docking requires patience and a perspective on how to do it. And so how do we relate this to life lessons? First and foremost is you can't force it. Whatever you're yoked to, you can't just force it. I think it also means that you have to keep your eye on where you're going, right? Because in life, in business, in partnerships, it's easy to look down or look back at where you've been and what you worked on, but you have to keep your eyes focused forward on where you're going, especially under pressure. And if you are, usually a lot of people that listen to this are, in charge of their own thing, they're entrepreneurs or they're leading something. And so you're under pressure. People are watching you and you have to pay attention. And most of all, it's all about alignment. You have to make sure you are aligned or yoked to whatever it is. And so if you're aligned and yoked to, I'm going to park in this docking slip, I know that I can't just go straight in. I can't go straight linear. I have to park at an angle and come in, use all the surroundings to my advantage to get me in the spot. And then if you screw up, start over. If you're in your marriage, you're having a fight, just reset. That doesn't mean blow up and get divorced. That doesn't mean that. It means just reset and try again. If you had a fail in business, just reset and try again. No big deal. And same with boating. If you miss the slip, which happens a lot, just restart and try again. Who cares about the people watching? So number one, docking requires patience and perspective. Number two, calm water does not make a skilled captain. I tell you what, a calm water today was calm. It's kind of a little windy now. It's picking up. It is still super calm, but um, you don't grow your captain boating skills on calm water. You learn how to turn, sure, you can go have fun, but it is the calm water where you can enjoy and relax and you're just smooth sailing. But it doesn't grow you. You don't get better skills. It's the choppy water. It's the windy days. It's the having somebody behind you on the tube. It is docking. That's how you get better, and that's how you really excel at being a captain. And it's the same thing as a yoked lesson. So translating it to a yoked lesson, and Ingrid and I have felt this a lot this year. It's not the easy, smooth sailing business practices that you get better at. It's the headaches. The headaches are how you get stronger. The headaches are how you excel. The headaches are how you grow. It is the failings that you look back and you say, okay, that's what I did. I did this, this, this. For Ingrid and I, we whiteboard. So we'll whiteboard, like what just happened. And let's talk, let's make sure we learn from this. And so again, I think calm waters are for rest, which are absolutely important. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. But rough waters are how you build trust in yourself and skills. And so it's easy to translate. All right, number 3, how not to fling your kids off the tube. So this is obviously super practical. I've only flung a Malin off the tube one time for the record. But the boating lesson is when you're the captain of the boat, that your wake affects everyone. Okay. And so if you are tubing, if you're tubing with kids, you don't want a big wake. Like they don't want to go flying. They just don't. They want to have fun. They want to get thrown on to the sides a little bit. But for us, tubing wise, we're in the 15 miles an hour range. And then once they're ready to go, you're up to 20 miles an hour range. And I mean, if you turn too tight and you jerk them, they will fly out. That's happened to Malin. We were turning and then it recoiled her back. And so the goal is not to fling them off. If you're tubing with an adult buddy, for sure, that's your goal. Your goal is to try to sling them off that thing. We were boating this summer. I was out on the tube. Ingrid's pulling me, and she rips it. Just bam, rips it, straight turn. She threw me off that sucker in a matter of like 8 seconds because she flung me way out wide, and it just bounced me right off. And so I think the yoke lesson is that when you're yoked to others, your choices carry weight, right? And so how you drive, the wake that you create, it does affect others. So whether it's your marriage and your business or any of that, like you have to lead with awareness and humility. And so it's not just you. It's not just you solo. Your wake affects other people. All right, number 4. This one's pertinent to us because we are on a boat club. We are in a boat club. And so the title is Different Boats, Same Captain, right? And so a backstory for us in this boat club, we have a Malibu Wakesetter surf boat, super fun for surfing, for playing. We have this boat or several of these. We have this boat, which is a 24-foot Barletta Aris tri-tune, pontoon party barge, right? There's 3 tunes, so it's pretty, stable, but it's like driving an RV on the water. I have it here because there's not a lot as much bounce. They have a table. It's easy to walk. It's flat. It's super fun. Kids love it. And then our third boat is called a runabout boat. It's a Cobalt R4, 23 foot. And it is smooth as butter. It is like your ski boat. It's fun to go out, just joyride on the lake. It's a deep V hull, and so it's a lot smoother through the chop. It is a great, super fun all around boat. It can go 50 miles an hour super easily. But each boat is super different. And so what I learned this summer is that yes, captaining a boat is just a general statement, but each boat is very different. Okay, so even on the same water, we're on the same lake, all 3 boats handle very differently. For example, the wake boat, the way its rudder system works, whenever you're reversing, it naturally by itself turns to the right. It doesn't go reverse straight. It goes to the right. And so backing that sucker up so that way it can park in a slip is very, very different. The runabout boat, it has docking assist. And so you push that button, the throttle is less. It's not going to jerk around like crazy. And it steers more like a car. You point the engine to the left, it goes to the left. And so it is a lot easier to park. This boat, the Tritoon, like I said, this is like an RV on the water. It is big, it is slow, it's sluggish, it's not going to turn on a dime, and it's very, very different. The wake boat, you fill the bags full of water and you are deep in the water. It's slow to respond. And that boat, like when you're surfing, Ingrid's surfing behind me. She surfs on the right side. I surf on the left. It's so easy. And we did it to not realize and forget as soon as she falls off the water to turn to go back and get her. If I turned that boat to the right to go get her, all my boat fans are like, oh, I know what you're going to say. That wave is massive. And you turn the boat to the right, that wave comes straight over the bow into your boat. It's happened twice. And the boat club people said, hey, this will happen. It's only going to happen a couple of times. But that is an example. It's because when you're full of water, you sink down so much. And so it is so true. It's like the same captain, but different boats. And so how does this work in everyday life? What worked for us starting out in our 20s as entrepreneurs doesn't necessarily work the same now. Our business has grown. And so what worked before doesn't necessarily work now. Parenting. You figure, I mean, all the parents could say amen because you figure out one thing that works when your kid's 2 and they're 2.5, that doesn't work anymore. It's always evolving. And so I say it like this: staying yoked means learning to steer your ship or the ship, whatever ship you're on in that season of life correctly. Right. And so it's as the seasons change, is steering your ship or your boat. However, that boat and that season needs to be steered and being adaptable. Okay. My fifth and final, and for us this season has been one of the most important, is that knowing when to drop your anchor and rest. This is a key learning for me. I'm not anchored right now. I didn't bring an actual anchor, but the metaphor is still the same. I am anchored right here, right? I am parked. I'm sitting. And for us, especially this summer, it's been a season just kind of crazy. It's been a really difficult season. If you've been following along, you know, for us in work, it's been a really hard season. But us in life, it's been a very good season. And so those super stressful days, we go out on the water. There's a couple where Ingrid and I both were like, we don't want to go. Let's just hang back. And I was like, no, let's go. We need to go out. We have the reservation. Let's go out. And the peace that the water brought of just coming out into the calm, we'd go park in a bay, we'd bring some dinner and drop anchor and just rest and just enjoy. And the kids would swim. And it is so real that sometimes you just need to drop anchor and rest, even though that is the hard, that's not what your gut says. For us, at least, when we're working and we're just in the trenches, the last thing you want to do is take a rest because I want to work my way through it, claw my way through it. And for us, like spiritually, like God calls us to remember the Sabbath, and that is difficult. He says remember because we're going to forget, right? It says remember the Sabbath. And have we Sabbathed like we should? No. Have we practiced the art of rest this summer? Yes. And so I definitely think that in real life, work, marriage, partnerships, all of those, when you're yoked to your faith or your partner, pausing to anchor brings clarity and connection. I want to see that again because I think it's so important. When you're yoked to your faith or your partner, pausing to anchor brings clarity and connection. And it's so true. Ingrid and I, in this season, we've talked a lot about vision on this podcast in the last several episodes. A lot of that vision has come out of a moment of rest, of like, okay, let's think about what's happening. Let's get clarity around what's happening. Let's pause. Let's talk. Let's talk about our vision. Okay, this season really sucks, but let's talk about what the next season is because this season will end. It will end. And so let's talk about the next season. And that for us happens in a season of rest. And so I think it's so pertinent that being on the water, it forces you to rest. Now, are you resting in a crazy choppy body of water? Not in the main body, not in the lake. For us, like when my dad came out on July 4th, it was a really crummy day out on the water. It was super windy. It was big waves. we still went out. We're like, hey, let's go, whatever. We hugged the shoreline and we found bodies of water. We found little bays that were calm. And so and that's a good analogy. Like even in the crazy, crazy season of your life, you can still find those times where you can just be calm, be still, be with your thoughts and rest. So again, my 5 things: docking requires patience and perspective. Number 2, calm water doesn't make a skilled captain. It sure is fun to drive in though. Number 3, how not to fling your kids off the tube or the surfboard. Number 4, different boats, same captain. And number 5, know when to drop anchor and rest. I hope this was fun. It was good for me being yoked on the boat. And man, I tell you, this summer, just being out here on the boat has been such a key to us growing the season, key for rest, a key for joy. And so, first of all, I encourage you to go get on the water, go rent a boat. Go have fun. It is an absolute blast. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Yoked on the Boat. I'm totally gonna do another one next summer, maybe when it's sunny and it's actual boating weather, not when it's 40 degrees and I'm wearing gloves and a hat. But thank you for listening. I'm definitely yoked to this week. It's all about yoked. I'm yoked to number 5. I'm yoked to knowing when to drop anchor and rest. That is the biggest key for me on this one. So that's what I'm yoked to. I can be found on at the Travis Hall on Instagram, or on all the socials and Spotify, YouTube. Send me a comment, drop me a DM on what you're currently yoked to, when you're going to go out on the boat yourself, and all the things. So as always, thank you for listening. We'll see you next week.
Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of the Yoked Podcast. We hope you enjoyed it.
And as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow along as we drop a new episode each week.